There's a three-part work in the Godhead. So he came, he created all things. And then it says that we talk about him coming, the word being made flesh. So when you talk about the word being made flesh, that meant that he came in a natural body. He left glory. The word left glory, came in a natural body, and it became flesh. And he was the light of the world. So if he's the light of the world, that means that he can expel darkness. So the light of the world, when you think about light, it could be a little bitty lantern. And you can be out in a big open space. And that little bitty lantern could be way on a hill or somewhere so far away, and it's just a little light. But even in the darkest of the night, that light is going to be seen, because we have road paths places up in the mountains going home, and they don't have a lot of lights. It's like really wilderness. Houses are up on the hill; they are everywhere, and there's no street lights. And you would say, we would always say, I hope I don't get caught in this dark up here, because this is not a good place to be, because there was no street lights, there were no lights to shine bright to see. But then you would see a little light somewhere up on the hill or somewhere, and that little light shines so bright in the darkness. So think about it. If Jesus is the light, let me rephrase that. Because Jesus is the light of the world, he lighteth up all things. So if you don't see the light, it's because you don't want to see the light, because he shines bright, and we have no excuse why we don't come to the light. So then John said, we know that he was a prepared vessel, and then John starts from the beginning, and these words speak to the pre-existence of God. So the pre-existing already in existence, the beginning and the ending. So he talks about the light, and he's letting you know also, I am not the light. I'm just speaking of the light to come. So then we go on to another verse, and it talks about how from him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities. This is in verses 1 through 5 that we just read over. Whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. That means that if you, no matter what is going on, you were created by him. Your positions, your whatever principalities, whether you can see it or not, everything is subject, because God created it. Everything is subject to his power. Are there any comments? Come on, help me out. Don't let me talk all through the Sunday school.
When I think about darkness, we can't do anything in the dark. If it's pitch dark, we can't see where we're going. No. We can't see what we are doing.
No.
So we should be thankful for the light, because it gives us the power to see and the power to do his will. Also, I was thinking about, if you think about a plant, most plants, they have to have light. They have to have light to survive. And that's just like us. We have to have light. We can't live in darkness. The light came so that we would not be in darkness.
There's one thing about when a light shines, it exposes darkness. So if it exposes darkness, that means that when it expels darkness, that means there's light in the room, and whatever's in the room, whatever's being done in the dark, there's a light shining on it. So because a light began to shine on the darkness, then many rejected him because they liked it. I said because they liked being in dark. And so he became, we know how they plotted against him. We know how they did everything to get rid of him because his light shineth on them. So therefore, you know that even within yourself, even in the natural realm, that if you are a Christian, and I'm not talking about saying with the mouth, I'm a Christian, but you're a Christian in your heart, in your mind, in your conversation. Conversation can be with your talk or your life. Your life. If you walking in the purpose and plan of God, if you really living for him, you're going to find that some people don't like you. So don't take it personally that they don't like you because they don't like you. What happens is the light that God has shined over and in you begins to show up the evil and what they're doing. And nobody wants you to tell them or make them feel uncomfortable when they want to be in sin. So they begin to attack. They attack Jesus. They try to cause him, the word made flesh, they try to hem him up, as you say. Now he walked, and this is the thing, he came to shed his light, to give life eternal. This light is above the natural light. He is the eternal light. And so when he came about, he exposed men for who they were. So don't get discouraged. Don't stop being a light, but don't let people dim your light. But the more they attack you, shine your light the brightest. Because always remember that because Jesus was the eternal light, we got to point people to the eternal light so that they might receive the light within them. Because that light is eternity. So when you're walking about, always know that Jesus was attacked too. So don't worry about it. So Jesus, he said, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. They didn't want to receive it. They rejected it. And because they rejected it, how can they have that eternal light? Because it said that they loved darkness and they loved the evil more than they loved the light. So therefore, they rejected him. But you know what? Jesus already knew. They already knew that he would be rejected. God had a plan for mankind. So he knew that he had to send the Word. The Word was with God. The Word, what it said, in the beginning, the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So therefore, because the Word is God, and we needed a Savior, he already knew everything. Think about it. If you create something, you're the creator of something, you know how that thing works. You know all about it. You know all the mechanics of it. So since he created everything, that means that he knew man needed a Savior. So he came regardless. The Word was made flesh. And because he dwelt among us, because he loved us just that much. And so when he came as the light, he knew that we needed to come out of darkness. Because in darkness, you cannot see. In darkness, you begin to stumble. In darkness, there's no way back to the light. So therefore, if you believe that he is the light, then you will come out of darkness. You will not reject the light, because if you reject the light, that's the only way that you can have eternity. So he is the eternal light. So I'm going to go on to, are there any comments in the verse? Go ahead.
Darkness, the word darkness kind of refers to people who have rejected the word.
Yes.
So they're in a, I guess you would call it experiencing a spiritual darkness. When they walk around, they don't accept the word, so they continue to be happily living in their sin.
Oh, and if we have the light, then we will have life, and we can live.